Morning. Oh, afternoon.
I know we're kind of off our game.
I know we're off our game. I know exactly. Things get in the way, and so
it's
we're
kind of that
afternoon.
busy time of year.
Whew,
so our clients do come before our little live thing. So
yeah,
we do have to sometimes make way, right?
Make adjustments.
Make
adjustments.
Exactly.
It's the end of June. It's busy time.
It is really, really busy, which is awesome. So rates are low. So people are refinancing. People are deciding to buy. They maybe have been on the fence because they're getting in at a lower rate.
And inventory is still good. There's still a lot of things to
there
look
are things
at
coming on the market.
Like,
I'm actually surprised. I think usually things come on early, but I'm kind of amazed at how many things I'm seeing coming on the market.
Every day, pull up on the MLS, and there's just so many things that are brand new on the market. It's really, it's great. I mean, it makes it a more vibrant market and more things to look at. And
so if you thought about buying and are kind of like, well, it's still a great time to look at buying. And then you got buyers, so then you got sellers.
You need sellers.
So it's a really good market out there.
It's a good combination to have. Yeah, absolutely. Good inventory, qualified buyers.
Awesome. Now you're gonna sweat while you're looking at houses because we went from being cold to now being humid. It's like you walk out and you're like, woo!
I know exactly. But it's when you walk in the winter, when you walk in someplace, when you've been outside, you have glasses on.
Oh yeah, they fog over.
They fog over. Well, now our office is so cold. You walk outside, your glasses fog over. Yes, I know.
It's on the inside of her glasses.
No, it's like crying out loud. So anyway.
Fun.
It's fun. It's always fun to be in Iowa because the weather's weird.
It's weird. Yeah, actually, we were talking about we just finished our baseball season. And at the game earlier in the week, we literally sat down. You had like a tank top on, right?
Yep.
And then we sat down for the game, and the clouds came in, and we all I had a little light jacket on, and then I put my sweater over my jacket because it was cold. I mean, not like freezing cold, but definitely chilly.
Yes.
And then last night at the game, we're all like, "Woo! It's it's humid, steamy and hot, which is what we really want.
Yeah, it is
in the summer here.
It makes the corn grow.
It does. You can hear it if you go out in the field. You really can hear. Like people laugh, but if you're out there and you're really still, you can hear the creaks and the groans of the corn growing.
It is, yes. So all you city folk,
yes,
come out for an adventure and let's get the corn grow in Iowa.
The corn grow. Come visit us.
There's much more than just corn.
But don't take Google Maps to come visit us.
Oh yeah, we were talking about. I saw online that there was a story about people took Google Maps on a detour and it all ended up in this empty field.
Yeah, to avoid some traffic or something, right? And there's all these people in this empty field together. Like, did you all use the same map to get here?
Yeah. So that's my husband would pull out his Rand McNally.
Oh, for sure.
The big thing, yes. And he gave one to both of our kids at some point, and they're like, okay, flunk on the back seat. But really, sometimes an actual map can get you there easier than,
especially if we were like, did somebody hack in or what?
New streets kind of confuse it too.
That's true. If you're going to do development or something, you're not going to get to where you're going.
So anyway, but so what were we talking about?
We were gonna
follow up. Yeah, we had a couple questions after last week's video talking about new building and finding a lot. And
so thanks for watching.
Yes.
Thanks for the questions that we got afterwards.
Yeah, so how does that whole process work really to get started? Well, if you're thinking about that, really talk to a realtor, me or your realtor of choice, and because it's not just about I want this lot. There's a lot of things to figure out in that whole process. Who owns the lot? Is it part of a development? What processes to go through? Is it just a lot like we talked about that we were at last week where it's kind of carved out of some acreage? So we need to find out a few things from you first. And so there's 199 things that can go wrong in a real estate transaction. We're here so that those 190 of them you never see. Right?
Yeah, all behind the scenes.
Right. And so then you add new construction on top of that and you get another 299 things that can happen. So our goal is to make sure from point A to point B or Z actually is done as smooth as possible. So it's a matter of finding out ownership of the lot, if it's not a development, and then connecting you to some builders because you don't want to just randomly pick one, you
Right,
know?
right.
So there are several we can talk to that find a good fit for you in that process, and we can meet with them together, and then we kind of formulate a plan as to whether they can build on that lot, what you want to build, your price range, and that sort of thing. Because hopefully you've already talked to a lender to talk about what you can finance and how you want to buy this lot new build. Are you going to buy the lot outright? Are you going to finance the whole thing? How is the builder involved in that? So it really starts with this conversation here that we have. And
so you're real. So if you were looking, like if you're trying to make it the least amount of stress, maybe talking to a realtor first.
Yes.
Because then the realtor will know the different lots and what the nuances are behind each lot, or can find out what they are, right?
Exactly, because there's covenants involved. Sometimes you may have to have a survey, you know, and depending on if it's just like an undeveloped area, you have to find out first if you can actually build on it, so that, you know, there's utilities you have to figure out, whether it's city or county, if you need a septic on it, if, you know, how do you get utilities to it. So there's a lot of things involved. So some people have already talked to a builder. If they have a relationship with them, that's fine. But to proceed in the whole part of the putting all the pieces together, you really need to kind of have somebody that kind of coordinates all that for you. So that really it's helpful for you in the long run to have somebody that kind of is your, okay, now what do we do if we come across this? I may not have the answer right away. Lisa may not have the answer right away. We can go research that and find out for you.
Lots of resources to find out the answer. To
because you're you know, you're at work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know somebody calls you with a question. I'm like, I don't know. So call me and I can figure it out. You don't have to do all the research. So we'll try anyways to figure out as best we can how to solve all those, you know, nuances with building. So,
and I think if you, some people too are flexible with where they want to live. And so even calling a realtor to say, hey, I'm thinking about building. Can you tell me where I would like to live in this area? Which cities have lots? Because I think there's some that are hidden. Like even some small towns even have some kind of hidden lots. And most builders then will work with a realtor. Is that
exactly? That's pretty common. Yes, absolutely. So most builders will do that because obviously we're bringing a buyer to them, so they want to make that a great relationship. So we have relationships with builders because we, you know, we'll sell their spec homes or whatever too. So things that they've already built and have on the market. So builders are great to work with, and that's usually not a question. Really. They understand what we bring to the table, you know, in terms of trying to be an extra set of eyes for both the builder and the buyers.
And kind of communication sometimes. I think during the process sometimes as well.
That helps.
But if I've now figured out my lot, right? I've got my financing in line. I decide that with the builder I chose is actually going to hold the loan, so I don't even have to worry about it, right? When it comes to building then, so I've used you, and now what's your part kind of during the, we're now building and I'm picking things out. So where would my realtor come into play during that? I mean, do you kind of take a step back and say, okay, now the design team is helping you out, and then when what does that
I'm kind of
like?
I help with coordinating appointments sometimes. I'll usually attend most of those meetings, and I'll kind of keep an eye out for this. You know, they might ask me for decisions. So, Kayla, what do you think about this? Is this good if we're going to sell this one day? Would this be a good thing to do or not?
Is it worth the extra money?
Is it worth the extra money to do this?
Have this shower door, or should I just keep with this one?
Exactly.
I say that just because I had somebody who upgraded and the appraisal was already done. Well, the $7,000 shower door.
Oh my gosh, shower
did
door?
not. I don't know. It was a lot.
Yes.
Did not equivalent to the appraisal going up by that amount. So there's certain questions like that.
There's certain questions about, and sometimes I'm just on floor plan on space, and sometimes, so I'll just kind of throw in, well, this is something to think about. You know, I can't predict the future, and you have to build a house that you want for your comfort and your design. But there might be some questions that they might have about, is this a smart thing to do? You know, if you build a new house and have no bathtubs. You know, I mean, you may not take baths anymore, but
Yeah, especially if you have family buys it with little kids.
Yeah, that tends to be, yeah. So anyway, those are just some, little questions that could come up, and where the driveway is, or, just a lot of different things. So
like we talked about in our other video, there are so many different things when you build a house.
Yes.
Yeah, down to where you're going to put your outlets. I think you said that.
Yes.
You think, what? Isn't there standard places for outlets?
No, there's not. Absolutely not. So we had that question to walk through today, because we're in it, like, I don't understand why that light switch is over there. Because you have to walk into the room, around the corner, and then flip on the switch.
And that's the only switch for the room?
There's two. The other one's behind a door.
Oh.
So it's kind of odd. So was there a doorway on a different wall at a certain time?
Maybe.
I don't know. But over time, it's kind of not fun. It's kind of weird to figure out what the history of a house is.
Yes.
Because I always say, well, why would they do that? And I said, well, it probably made sense at the time.
Right.
Because probably to somebody it made sense when they did it.
Right.
But now you're like, what in the world? Right. That's right. So anyway, so yeah. So and then also, I'm keeping the lender appraised of how things are going and how we're moving, because we have to usually have a deadline of some sort. And particularly if you're selling something, then I've got to help coordinate that whole process too, because you're selling your home. Do you have to find temporary housing? There's a lot of things going on when you're building. So.
Yeah, and I would say too that if you're thinking about building, having a realtor work with you, because the other thing that I think some people don't realize is that realtors have a privy of knowing what is for rent in your area that maybe you could have, because short-term rentals are very, very hard to come by.
Yes.
And so they have a network of people and things like that they're talking to help you with maybe that short-term.
Exactly.
If that's what you might, if you're
storage units.
Storage units, different things like that.
Right.
They're like, I'm always amazed at how many people you know and how many contacts. So
been here a long time.
Yeah, but it's really great information.
Yeah.
So I think it's having a realtor help you with those things is really valuable.
Yep, it is, absolutely. So and hiring a agent to work with you on the buyer side is free.
Yes, it's free. You're not paying for it.
Nope, exactly.
Which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have other questions, I think reach out to us and let us know. If you're thinking about it, because some people, it takes them a few years to even decide they want to build.
Yes, it's a long process.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's usually not the, oh my gosh, I think we should sell our house and build a house. It's usually like, we've been always kind of thinking we might want to build. What does that look like?
Right, exactly.
What's available?
They've been going to Parade Homes for years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is so fun, I have to say. I was like, oh my gosh, so cool. Or wow, why did they choose that?
Yes, exactly. A couple of years ago, I had a friend, his husband, who said, I wish the person that invented gray would just go away, because every single house was gray fixtures, gray, tile, gray siding, everything was gray. He's like, he was so sick of it by the time he got through the parade. So there wasn't a lot of variety that year, apparently.
Yeah,
so,
apparently not. Actually, what did I see the other day? I didn't get to the Parade of Homes in Ames this year, but I saw something that had like the gold was coming up. Not bronze, not the 80s, like
the bright gold.
Yeah, but actually gold and fixtures is coming back.
Yeah. Something never goes away forever. It always comes back, but only kind of in a different variety.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't save the old from, I'm going to save these, put these in a tote because it will be popular someday. No.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Although Caitlin does have a shirt that she could bring back.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
No.
Someday.
I don't think I can get it around.
We were just talking about having the little midriff tops.
Yeah. I was
Caitlin found
20 years old at the time.
Little bandana.
Yeah.
But they're back. But we just
and my permed hair.
Yes.
Yeah. In the 70s. So it's cute. Yeah.
Yes.
So hey, one more thing we want to talk about is today is the 27th of June.
It is almost the end of June, which means July 1st is right around the corner.
And that is your deadline to sign up for your homestead property tax credit. So if you have not done that, please do that, because you want to, whatever savings it is, if it's $100, $130 a year on your property taxes, you want to make sure that you are eligible for that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's actually it's simple and it's something you get for your primary residence.
Right.
Only one of you has to do it, or you can do it online sometimes. So
and you only have to do it once. Once you have it on your property, it's there until you sell.
Yes, I've been actually kind of going through my database and trying to look up, and quite a few
Making
people
sure.
have not signed up because you get moving and forget about it.
Yes,
so.
you do. So please remember to get that done. If you bought last year, like this last week in June, first week in July, and kind of missed that, make sure you've got that homestead on your signed up on your property.
Yeah, if you have questions about doing it, if you missed that, you can watch another video about it, but just ask us. It's so simple. We can tell you how to do it.
Absolutely. So everybody have a great weekend, and if you're at the ball field, well, I'll be at my grandson's baseball games this weekend. So 9-year-old
and I don't know if we'll do our video next week because it's 4th of July.
4th of July, so
and it's busy.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll
let you know.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So fly the red, white, and blue, and have a happy 4th of July if we don't talk to you before then. Bye. Are you